aye vayazo aye enomere vayazo enomere wawajikwe vayazo aye umman vayazo aye obebun mary vayazo aye enomere vayazo enomere wawajikwe vayazo aye Mary, 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 Obatampe. Mary, 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 Obatampe. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, no. Mary, yeah, yeah, tasso. Mary. Yea, abotaro, Mary. Yea, odo, Mary. Obatampe, boye, eno Mary, boye. So my internet say, I ain't Jesus Christ. Mary asumdwe hima. Mary, Queen of Peace. See, enyumri why nyamena do majumeze yeshishede ende yabeshasan yetumi aba o maye munsema ya ho nti se dem na ahyasen o tano chade wie nuzu kuraze oboko yepa nti yedo bibiara se enyumri jumezi o de yefo bia obetene gwe mama ye ana yetutu hirenyi na yehwe yekọ oye akwa pro nyina ran ende na busumi so aka busum sunko za madam nyipakron de mo busumi yara ozi na wodan na ye pede otinegwe mahen manyumbre yezizi djuma oyobi o ochiraze wo mbie biara asori dem ochiraze over oye school dem so na oye sofo entinda ye ba friend na Reverend Father John Bernard Bichem mo abetinegwe mama he it's I child there. I grown up pa. Chairman, thank you for accepting to. See, you so yenya oye ebusiafo adofo awonyi hene mbotwetwe nkomo ofa hena pomze za all day ye ma yetu mokokan nti Nyauzi kanoye Mrs. Honey. Nti oma ye fancy boy ye nshano kanma ombra kanma. Nti orbe na oye fama abna esia da konso kaho. Ano so reba nti ano so oma ye fan nsembo nshano kan. Na yawo oye Farmer Dr. Philippa Asare. So no so high best friend on the sombra can my hair. Until on my honors the Obaba and see it must say. And see having invited the chairman and then the speakers, but also want to get a response from our chairman, whether he's ready to take up this task or otherwise. So let's give him a round of applause once again as he speaks to us.
I thank Jesus Christ. Father, okay, say, say thank you for accepting this. Since you are shadow, you may feel. Makaka menya asamaba. And the enyumri enyumya was actually musum. mututar na yɛbɛda nna ndwumadi mo anyi so na he nyinaa so yɛbɛyɛ so na za yɛbɔsua biara so no yɛdze atoe nkotodwam na yɛabɔ hɛn ho bɔten ama apɔwmuden ayɛ hɛn dze nyame nhyɛ he nyinaa amen.
Chairman yada said aja to me the busy Jumea Mahen. Yancher Prana yen Sembri abisre the Yen biti Casatre. Na evi say you want some bisa prane BNB so na yazatu ganti. Yancher home. My patch up. Utuma Shasa Mahenti, Butuma Conadam.
Asorrowful, yanadoful, and you bring Yamahanadu. Abro. We are here as part of the Feast of the Assumption, as Father has told you already. We are here as Lady Pharmacists Association of Ghana to have a chat about nutrition and health with you this evening. And with me are my colleagues, but we are waiting for one. I'm sure she's on her way coming. We have pharmacist, lady pharmacist, or Lady Abna Ifia Esie. And she will honor na obe on your come home near Bekasa atrehun about eziziye na po mezen and diziye ya enya po mezen and diziye ya ebayar na diziye nya bazi yenza bazi eben yarba na yewo wo hen hu a onye de yezi ana yenkezi ama yenyina cher enyin wo hoi yakade oye achezi na onya yarba ya wasembi de yebotum watchins yefande yerenyin na ye watcha yebotum ya reversing ya kohechi nti se enampo na edibeye 80 years na still wo ho yezin ne hinan eziziye na ahweye nti matra beraba abna obaba no we basican was asamna tutu ho amahon na yenwi obayen commoded do ye betefi pinsu one questions are what we now bisa hens and ye one ni discussions dan wan sipi
Menanum na bejanum mama wanajui wajimenyadu na mebisa de yechie den say Mary asumdwe hima Mary Queen of Peace. All right. Yeda me ase de and so why any penny yetum ye shiem wa ha de ye botwetwe nkomo nsama yerba kan pay sorry enyimri ni nyina onyaze fofor pina yenyim dedo na ya yekado yenyim but me na yete de henu we efi nti ofi bir to bir no o said ye kaka ye no ho na say ye hu de wo kwa betan do osimesi we efim wanya hwe nso we efim ebia na yarba kura ebie ni bi o hye no ho a wenhu anasumpo ohun ya wanfa no enyibrisam anada ofi de bia o yaza onya adze kese obehye no ho na waye den we efim na demre inde yerike Mary na fidei. Oh, okay. All right. So we do a mixture. Okay. Inti As we remember the Assumption of Mary, we also want to take the opportunity to remind ourselves of some of the key things so that we live long and we stay healthy in our long years. Some of us will be living long but will be in ill health. But there are a few things that we need to take very note of as no matter how busy we are with our work. Sometimes we are so busy and we forget even drink water to eat as we are working. And all we are concerned about is working to make money for our children and our family, forgetting that if we don't take care of ourselves, we'll also not be healthy to make that money for the family. So, as we are aging, these are some of the things that we would want to take note of. Like when we were growing up, we didn't have access to so many things, so many foods and so many luxuries. You could go to homes where they could have milk, sugar, and everything. So as you are working now, you think that, oh, since I have my money, and so I can afford all these things. And then we end up consuming them anyhow, as if it's like a sign of good living. But that is not it. It's rather affecting our health system, and then is affecting our, health, as we are saying. So the first and foremost is to tell us that we should look at how we take in our milk, especially, and fatty foods as well. Let's take in less milk. We even have these days non-dairy creamers. They are like milk, but they are not, they do not contain calories and all the ingredients or nutrients that the proper milk has. And as we age, we can look at that option of taking non-dairy milk rather than taking in maybe full cream milk and other things. You could go to the market and you see skimmed milk. These are all good for our tea to cream it up. And in our tea, instead of maybe adding the milk, we could do lemon or lime juice together with the tea. Why am I saying that? In this era that we find ourselves in, that's the COVID era, we are being told that the virus, when we're taking a lot of vitamin C and a lot of vitamins, especially the vitamin C, it helps us fight against it, or builds our immune system against COVID. And so the lemon juice or the lime juice is found to have a high content of vitamin C. And instead of putting in milk in our tea, we could also go in for the lemon juice, or even take in with a little warm water. But then, of course, if you have a condition like a peptic ulcer or any disease that's preventing you from taking in acidic foods, then you may have to speak with your physician or your doctor for proper advice on what to do. We are to take in more water. Sometimes somebody can go a whole day without taking water. Experts are saying that we should drink at least 2 liters of water in a day. And so the person will forget about drinking water. And from morning till like 5 p.m., the person will just take a glass of water. And when the person has gotten home around 7 p.m. and is getting ready to go to bed, we'll take a full bottle of maybe 1.5 liter Baltic that I'm supposed to consume 2 liters, so let me sit down and consume all at a go. No. The amount of water should be taken at regular intervals. You should not consume all the 2 liters at a go. And it is even proper that you take much of your water during the day than doing it in the night. Why? Because when you have consumed a lot of water in the night, you tend to wake up frequently, and that disturbs your sleep because you'll be producing a lot of urine and you need to be emptying, and that disturbs your sleep. So if you, these days, you go on the internet, people are saying, okay, so you could start, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you could take a glass of water. That's about 250 to 300 ml, depending on how big your glass is. So you calculate it. Maybe 8 glasses of water in a day. So you portion it in such a way that You just take a lot of it during the daytime. And just in the evening, maybe just a glass before you go to bed isn't bad. So please, let's just take note that these also help. I mean, consuming a lot of water, or a minimum of 2 liters a day, helps us to, for our kidneys to stay strong. Because these days, you see that you have a lot of people developing kidney diseases and all that. And it's because of some of these things we are taking in more of the juicy fruit drinks and, sugary drinks, rather than to take in water. That's going to help dilute any toxins or help us for the kidney to stay strong. So it's very important that we adhere to this water therapy. People have even developed water therapy rather than, taking in food, and it's helping them to lose weight as well. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't eat at all. I mean, once in a while, as you pray, maybe during this feast of the Assumption of Mary, you could decide that, okay, so I just want to devote this day to prayer. And instead of maybe taking in food, you could do a water therapy. These are some of the ways to help the immune system, to help build the immune system and to stay very healthy. The water bit is very important because we, the working class, that is where we fault a lot. As soon as we get to work, we forget about everything, and all we are concerned about is our work. And before you could say, Jack, the day is ended and you've not even taken in a glass of water. And that is where these things start happening, because as you take in more water, even especially with the females, it tends to wash out some bacteria and other, organisms that are hidden in our urinary tract system, and so they tend to, come out a lot, and it helps us to stay healthy, and may not even have these kind of infections that we are even prone to. So we've talked about the fact that we should eat less oily foods. Now studies are even showing that the coconut oil that we even threw away some time ago in the olden days and went in for these vegetable oils are even the best for us now. And now you see that people are preaching that we go back to our coconut oil, which is less in cholesterol, and we could do that. If we also have some utensils that are coming up, that you could even cook your food without oil, and then it comes out just as you've cooked with oil. We need to cut down on oily foods. And it's not just about the oil that we put in it. Somebody will say, I don't put oil in my stew. But this is the same person who is always buying fried yam with, fried chicken or something on the street, or fried yam with pork, kelewele, and all the other foods that are being fried. It is just as consuming oil. So you may not have oil in your stew, but the consumption of these kind of foods is also a source of, fat and oil that we want to cut down. We are saying all these things because we are growing. And as you grow, the more of these oils, most of these are high in cholesterol. And of course, as we age, our BP goes up, it increases with age normally. But then the bottom line is we don't want to hit the target or go beyond the target. So what are some of the things that we need to do to maintain it at a level that is not risky to our health? And that is some of the things. So far as your BP is going up, you are even prone to, your high cholesterol and other things. And these are all going up. You may end up with what we call maybe an infection or stroke or some of these things that are the end result of high BP, diabetes, and all other things. So it's better that we prevent them with our lifestyle than to wait and get them and start taking on medications, which may not help. We also saying that aside the food, we should, in the course of drinking the water, we should try as much as possible to cut down on, these chilled drinks and water. Let's try to take more water at room temperature. Sometimes the water will be too hot, and some of us will even end up chewing the ice block just to, get some comfort. And it is very normal. But then these are the things we used to do in our youthful age. But as we are growing, we should bear in mind that the system is not like it used to be some years back. Our body is just like any machine. And as the machine ages, the efficiency or the potency or how strong it is goes down. And see, we shouldn't think that the things we used to do some years back are just normal things that we could actually continue doing as at now. And we also advocating that we try to have enough rest. At least 8 hours sleep a day is not bad. We know it's hard for some of us because of maybe the kind of work we do, especially our mothers who are into trading. They need to get up, travel out, long distance to go get foodstuffs and other wares and bring to the market. And that, means that you sleep less and you don't have enough rest. But of course, our health, like I said, but then you shouldn't forget that your health is also important. So any least chance that we have, let's have enough rest. Let's take a nap in the afternoon, especially where you have a free time on weekends. Why not? Take a nap, maybe an hour or an hour and a half, so that it will relieve you of some of the stress that you have gone through during the day, during the week, or as we work or we go about our normal duties. As we age, we should just have a schedule of checking our, some basic vitals or basic things in our system. Our BP is very, very important. Once in a while, you could walk to the pharmacy or even the hospital, or if you have the means, you could own a BP monitor at home and be checking your BP once in a while. If you go on the internet, it gives you an idea of a normal BP for all age ranges. So you can Google or let your child or your somebody or your pharmacist or anybody you trust, check that I'm now 47, 52. What is the normal BP that I should have? Sometimes you may think that you are normal, like I'm as a man, BB, but then BP or high blood pressure is one condition that is what we call asymptomatic. It doesn't show signs at all. Somebody could just collapse, and before you could say that the person is going, go and check, and the BP was, very high and might have developed into other complications. And so it's important that once in a while we do check some of these things, and we could at least even have a plan that maybe I finish pay more, I'll just go to the hospital and do a routine checkups. One thing I tell people is that the hospital is not just meant for those who are sick. You could just walk in and say, I'll be well, but I just want to make sure that all my organs and everything are functioning properly. So you could check your BP, you check your blood sugar, that's another important thing. And then you could do some of these tests that of the organs, like the liver functioning and the kidney functioning, so that we don't wait till when we are at the end stage. That is where symptoms start to show, and then you see some of these things. But regular checkups at the hospital is very important. If you don't have the time to go to the hospital, your BP and your blood sugar could easily be checked at the local pharmacy or the community pharmacy, which are scattered all over within Cape Coast and anywhere you find yourself. So we said we should try to avoid or reduce some kind of things that we find in our food. And I have 6 of them that I feel, and then anytime we read about it, as we age, we should try to cut them down completely. Salt, like we all know, we've talked about it. Sugar, preserved meat and foods, some kind of foods, these packaged foods and other things, because they all come with preservatives, which may not even be good for our health as we age. Like I said, maybe growing up, we didn't have that opportunity to be eating that kind of food. But now that you have your own money, you feel that you should also eat it. But once in a while, I don't think it hurts. But then making it a habit that every day I need to buy noodles or Indomie. Every day I'm tired to cook, so I just go and buy Tasty Chef fried rice. Every day I'm this, and trying to make it a habit of eating it all the time. And a lot of these foods come with a lot of spices and a lot of things that may not be good for our health. So we should just cut them down completely. We've talked about the dairy products and the starchy foods as well. We should try to cut them down and rather do more of greens and vegetables. Like I said, these are things that we hear all the time. So this evening we are just reminding ourselves, that means the main in fried rice, but sisia anybody kakraba ma yehu zamane nyodu to ma dam tetezi bana yezinumpo if you there is ayet that was a yekolo anade wenyimboy banya dam not those were the ones still the ones that are good for our health. Sometimes we go out as lady pharmacists, we are trying to eat, and then Aunt Sally Mrs. Sonny will say that no, me this food I don't like. I have my own special meal. And then, it's that kind of food that we all think that is the old type and does not belong in our modern world. That is what she prefers to eat. So we will all be eating whatever it is there, but she will still go in for her, But it's difficult, though, because sometimes the ones that are not really good for our health are the ones that comes in handy and is readily available. You wouldn't see anybody packaging contonme album and a pim that I'm selling, so come and buy. Is there? And so we always want to make and take the ones that are readily available for us. And that's, but we are aging, so let's leave it for the younger ones to eat, because they have a lot of time to do a lot of exercises to burn all the calories that they consume from this food. But we have limited time, and we are not able to do that. So in order to stay healthy, we also need to do a lot of things as well, aside the food bit. There are some extracurricular activities we must engage ourselves in. We should do some kind of exercises. Gone are the days somebody could walk from here to Abra, and it is not a problem. The person will do it with ease. But today, even from here to the junction, we would prefer either a pragya or even a lift. Or we will even wish that there's a taxi running on this stretch. It is difficult. It's because, as I say, you need time. We are always busy and always late and all that. There isn't time, so we always want the quick way out. So now, everywhere we go, then we stop a taxi. Some of us, those of us who are also blessed with cars, even where we can walk, because we could park the car and then move, then we just move. I'm always guilty of this because I wake up in the morning, I'm not able to exercise, I feel lazy. I do it for some time and then, I forget and I start sleeping. As soon as I finish, I just sit in the car, straight to the office, go sit in my air-conditioned office. As soon as it's 5 o'clock, back in my car to the house. The only distance I walk is from my car to the house door. And I've ended the day. So every time, it is a problem for me. And sometimes it is even, you feel so lazy to do it. That one there is true. But we must try as much as possible to do some kind of walking, 30 minutes walk, some exercise. Recently, a friend sent me an exercise, a walking exercise. And I love this so much because that walking exercise doesn't work. I don't need to walk from one place to another. Even within my bedroom, I could do a 30-minute walk. You know, it's a form of exercise. Then it's like you are walking, but then you are walking within a certain range within your bedroom. And all these things are readily available on the internet, and that we could, you know, access and then try to exercise. Our mothers, you know, you can't exercise like we are doing. We, the middle-aged ones, are doing. But we want to encourage you. Once you are bored at home, if you do it, if you're not abra, na ma wona na ba na de wo baby, oh ma ye nanto young frama, nkakra na ye tenten he na po, ni nyina oboboa. Ebi mpa say into many exercise. Once a while, you could take the hymn book and sing some hymns. I mean, these are some of the things that you can even do to take off some stress. And, you know, it will take your mind off certain things you've been thinking about. Because as you sing the hymns, it's like you are sort of communicating with God in a way. And I know that we Catholics, and me being a Methodist, we were born with hymns. And so we have a lot of songs and hymns that we could sing in our spare time to relieve stress and to take our mind off things that are troubling us. Yeah, once in a while you could meet up with friends. Always don't confine to your room or your house. Just make a habit of, you know, like we are fellowshipping. When we are done, you could have a chit-chat with you and laugh off. And all these things that you've been thinking about are worrying you. You could share some if you want to. And these are, you know, will take your mind off certain things. In all this, it is important that we need to keep our friends close at heart. We need to check up on our friends. Gone are the days where we were having the compound house, where everybody was everybody's mother. I mean, when somebody's daughter misbehaves, anyone could. You know, these days it's not like that. We are all concerned about the nuclear family thing. And you have people who are even staying alone. For days, you will not even hear of them. And then we wonder what happens. Once in a while, let's do check on our friends. At the beginning of this year, in January, I think on the 1st of January, a good friend of mine just sent a Happy New Year message. We all responded, we had a chat, a long chat. After that, we all stay in the same Cape Coast. I never bothered to look for her. I never bothered to call her again to even ask her how she was doing. Not knowing this friend had been sick for a very long time. And so the next thing we heard was that she's passed on. How guilty we all felt as friends. Because we all lived in Cape Coast. And it's not like Accra where you need to travel miles to see a friend. You could just, you know, sometimes we think about our work so much that we forget about the people around us. Maybe a friend will be going through something that the person needs just an encouragement from you. Then it's like, but these things are not helping. Do check on your friends when you don't hear from them. Do have a chit-chat with them. And some of these things, you can bring up memories from the past and you laugh over it. And that will even, you know, make you feel fresh and young again. And always let's have positive thoughts. Let's not think that somebody is, you know, as a way, I don't want to. Let's just be positive about everything that we are doing. And we are Christians, and then we have hope that our Father in heaven, and when we pray through our Mother Mary, He hears us. So let's always have a positive thought and not think that things are not working good for us. And let's be thankful to God in every circumstance that we find ourselves. There's one key thing that I think I left out in my submission, and as a pharmacist, it's one of the things that is worrying us. These days, people don't want to go to the hospital, and we are doing self-medication a lot. We go, we buy the medicines just as we want it. And even sometimes we try to sell our disease to what the conditions that we are in to our friends. Oh, I see Nancy Muko to did. Oh, the man or yeah, Muko hospital, was my Wosujina Kososhe. Sometimes maybe the sign may be the same, but the cause or the disease will not be the same. The person will go and take it and will end up in something else. When we are not well, we have the pharmacist. Please, let's speak to them. Speak with your doctor and then find solutions. Don't try to listen to what friends are saying. And we listen to, those in these herbal. I'm not saying herbal medicines are not good, but then these herbal medicines, the good ones, have been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. And then even before you advertise, there are some rules and guidelines that we go about it, that you need to do. But these days, we have the community information system, where at dawn by 4:35, you could hear people shouting. And you could hear that one drug or one herbal product could cure about 50 diseases. This morning in my area, the man said it is a powder. And that powder can cure every disease except death. And I'm like, really? And you see, sometimes the way they will even say it, it's like as if they're, and it's normal. So you become so worried and you'll be like, let me go and try it. And this is what is causing an increase in liver diseases and kidney diseases in the communities or in our country now. If you even want to take any of such medication, please discuss it with your medical doctor or the pharmacist. Don't let us self-medicate. If you've heard it, speak with the pharmacist, speak with the doctor, speak with a nurse, that this is the medicine that I heard on radio, and I hear is this. Is it true? And then get proper counseling and education on medication. It's very, very important. We all want to live long to see our great-grandchildren. And these are some of the things that we may have to do. In other countries, to even get some kind of medication, you would go through a lot of, processes. You may not even have access, but I think we have it free, and we could walk in at any time to get medicines, and so it looks like the abuse is on the increase. Don't let us rely on what our friends tell us, that, oh, yeah, doctor not sure. For all you know, you may have a condition that when you take this drug, if that worsen it or will make it, will not even work for you. You go and take it and you develop something different. And so please, before you take any medication, speak to your pharmacist. If you go to the pharmacy, the community pharmacies or the pharmacies, I don't think the pharmacist will charge you for consultation. No, I'm yet to see any pharmacy that charges for consultation. A talk with your pharmacist is free at any time. And I believe that in this church, we may have other pharmacists apart from Mommy also with us. So have the opportunity to speak, get their contact numbers of even a nurse or a doctor, and make friends with them, so that when you don't understand anything, you can clarify before you take any medication. Just to round up what we've talked about so far, I think I've had enough talk, and I'll prefer that we ask more questions, and that will, make the discussion better. So this just to round up, I just want to remind us that we don't have to wait until we are hungry before we eat. Sometimes you could go a whole day without food. About 4, and as soon as you begin to eat, you start feeling the, the rumbling and the pains that comes in your stomach. And see, let's have a regular time. Breakfast is very important for us. A little at a time. I mean, we don't want to eat to them just a little at a time. So if you want to have 3 square meals at regular intervals, and not wait until you feel that you are hungry before you find food to eat. Also, like we discussed, don't let us wait until we are thirsty that we find water to drink. We've agreed that we're going to take a minimum of 2 liters a day, and we're going to take more of it during the day and not wait and take all at a go when we are feeling thirsty. So let's, plan it in such a way that maybe every 2 to 3 hours, you could take a glass. You can divide the day into, glasses, and then plan how you're going to take the water. Also, do not wait till you feel sleepy before you sleep. We've also talked about the fact that it's important that we have enough rest despite our busy schedule. Let's try to have about 8 hours to 10 hours of sleep, which I know is going to be difficult for us, the working class. But then we will try as much as possible to have enough rest and even a nap whenever we have the opportunity. So we will not wait till we are tired before we rest. We will rest, have time for ourselves to stay healthy. And do not wait till you get sick before you go for medical checkup. Otherwise, you will only regret it in life. So I've said that already. Once in a while, you could do checkups, do all the necessary labs, and then, a simple urine analysis can even help you know if there's anything happening in your body system. So once in a while, have a schedule, check your BP, check your blood sugar. You could do a simple urine analysis, and then you could know if there's something going on and speak with a health professional for assistance. And we do not want to wait till we have a problem before we go to our God. Like I said, we could even talk to God through our singing of our hymns, so that it helps us take off some of the burdens that we have and forget about the problems that we've gone through during the day. So let's make it a point to check on our friends, to eat healthy, and most importantly, exercise. Because if we don't exercise, our bones are going to be very stiff, and then our joints and everything are going to ache again. Regular exercises really helps. A simple walk, and not jogging, just a walk 30 minutes a day will be good for us. If we have the opportunity, we could just, search on the internet for simple exercises that you can do within the confines of your home, and no need, moving from your house, trying to walk 30 minutes down, maybe a junction or something. You could have a place within the house where you could do at least a 30-minute exercise. Thank you very much for your time, and I think I'll prefer that we ask more questions, because maybe there are certain things that may be bothering you, but we didn't talk about. Thank you.
I think Jesus Christ. So may answer na yan yaman ay we kama na ansa na yebi sen samano ma saliso ozekakra was botsodo na ewia na yebu kwana na henyinara yebi se bisa henan samze ma bojo.
Mary asonje hima. Mary assumed into heaven. Yada Madam Abna Yesi Asipi for the way Yamabi Atrahan. We've learned a lot. Now, further, we got in the nutrition and health. Ezibana Yezi in the mobile obe affect him. In the clinical pharmacy, in the community pharmacy, I see a lot of people with hypertension, as Lady Abna said, mentioned, and then diabetes, high cholesterol. Now, what is killing a lot of people, cardiovascular disease, akumaho yaraba, as she mentioned. And then cancer. When I was growing up, I didn't hear of the word cancer. But now cancer is very common. All because of young lifestyle, what we eat and what we don't have to eat. There will be BMI, meaning a measure what and waste. And there is an index. If it's more than 1, it will problem. Now we wait. And so you put on weight. Now it comes also with age. Yaketesia, as she mentioned, there is high metabolic rate system. We eat and we break it down. The intake of calories and the output of calories. We shouldn't go to bed with stored calories, too much stored. It turns into the fat, sugar. The sugar is stored as fat. And then when you are a woman, it shows on your tummy, your backside. If you are a man, it can show on your pot belly. When you see, it's a disease. Now, that means about check sugar. Narienya diabetes. Ebokwaka check is high or BP high. Now, how do we in obesity? Ayaka kraka demara. Ijina scale do cransha nari you almost breaking the scale. But then, what we should not eat as a diabetic, as she mentioned, too much drinks. Malt. I mean, means it's all. And a pay craft, it's an a pay back to be our one. Means she. Oh, really? And so, Namonum, hallelujah. And so, na Coke Cropenamanum. Coke. A citri cubes, 8 in 1 bottle of Coca-Cola. And you are going to store this sugar into fat. Too much fat in soon. Oyabazi. Okawakuma. BP. Indiziyo. Oh, monomalt. Monomalt. When we go to funerals, social functions, if I see the amount of food people take, I wonder whether they can eat it. I just don't understand. We have carbohydrates to take a certain percentage, which is maybe 35% carbohydrate. When we went to school, basic education, we were taught that balanced food is carbohydrate, protein, fat. Carbohydrates consist of a lot of sugar. So when you are diabetic, you don't increase your carbohydrate intake. If you are drinking Coke, malt, carbohydrate, sugar, we mustn't go there. But then we have to eat a balanced diet. If you are hypertensive, you don't take too much salt, as Lady mentioned. You don't take too much salt. Then what do? She mentioned drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water to do what? To wash your cells. The human body is made up of so millions of cells, but every cell must be washed. Every cell must not be allowed to rust. When we rust the cells, then we age. So anti-aging na mezikan kano ebini ebezi balanced diet according to your age. Erin pin body warampo after 3 into minutes biu until you find as a combada. You can have a little cocoa oats or oats. Hypertensive and even diabetic. No sugar, no milk, as she mentioned. Just the oats. About me fine. You can do a little exercise. And the exercise. You will sleep soundly, as she mentioned that sleep is very important. Rest. Because if we stress ourselves, too much work, you put so much things on yourself that is stressing you. Yamaibo to my Zimebo to mezi, man can dezibani, I didn't buy it. Oh, me and free. In Tiriza, I say, what? You know that it's not good for your health system. You are reducing your immune system if you overeat. So she mentioned we should have more rest, sleep, at least 7 hours for adults, 9 hours for children. You call internet, you both age groups, and then the number hours of sleep that everybody needs a day. And then the stress will build up something called cortisol. And the cortisol, no, onuna oka cancer, or attribute to cancer, cortisol. Nti ya ho ya hu pii na or the stress. Nti dem oken yen check on our friends. Nani yina what brings it? Odo, and to think about others. Yene radisi da wonyon kuti de wara wo hu. And the day reading also kokoton wonya mahina na zimechi. But achade ma onunzi kan. Nti so onunzi kan za na asama waka chade yendo hen kuti de hen. Therefore, you must follow that rule. That's the golden rule. And when somebody is doing something, eating badly, tell the person that, no, look at your weight, go and check it. You mustn't put on this weight. And a payment bibia, matana, there, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, na mezam pesi, na contemporary, okay, a pesi nizahen. Mami bodebi norakaso. They are a 6 fingers, Betimesia. Do you know the amount of calories in that? Okay. Now, ufufu side it then. She starts like this, and then she'll be coming, and I'll be just be looking at her. And then it comes to this. I said, it's too much. We want you to diet, to slim, to lose weight. So it's very important you lose weight. Then bring it down to a basin. You can do 3, 4. Then you can come down to 1. And you can add a half slice of yam for variety if you want. The diet she talked about, the Nkano diet, it's so healthy. It's so healthy, not the fried things that are on the market now. So we have to break down our carbohydrates down as we are aging. Bring it down. And then your proteins. Your proteins will affect your kidneys. If you take too much proteins, it will affect your kidney. So not that you didn't buy it, you got it free. You are going to take a chicken, meat, fish, everything, pork, everything that they have said. You take some. It's bad. It's bad for your own health. Diabetes, hypertension, cancer, cardiovascular diseases that is killing so many people. Cardiovascular and cancer. Diabetes, obesity. When you do your BMI, you can use that to check your weight, whether you are going to be obese or not. So let's check our weight regularly. And the exercises are also very, very important. And then high intake of salt, she told you about BP. And then singing. And then in this town, I see a lot of people quarreling. That brings the BP up. I hear it in so many households because we counsel people about their diseases in the community pharmacies. So you ask them questions, you go a bit deeper, and you hear that it's quarreling. I heard a lady on Saturday talking to the husband in a very disrespectful way, shouting. I said, was that your husband you were talking to? Yes. Hey! Then I gave her some Bible quotations. So the Bible gives us quotations not for just for harmony, but for our own health's sake. And the slow metabolism, some people don't eat much, but they put on weight, and because they have very slow rate of metabolism. Some people metabolize too, but this morning, a lady came, I eat a lot, but look at me, I'm too skinny. I said, that's the reason. The reason is that you are metabolizing very fast. Your metabolic rate is fast. So if you know that your metabolic system is slow, then go slow and do a lot of exercises to raise your heart rate and to burn the calories that you couldn't metabolize. Some can metabolize fast. Let them eat, metabolize, but they should check the salt, sugar, and the fat. And when Lady Abuna said the singing of hymns, I thought of loving. Then we put a smile on our faces. We have to smile and not be angry. Or people are even afraid to come to you. I saw a hairdresser like this. I was scared for the child who was plaiting her hair because the woman wouldn't smile. I said, oh, this child needs to be pampered. She's crying. But, so it was behind the window at the pharmacy. So I went out and pampered her. How much is one toffee? Just to keep her quiet and happy. So I talked to her, don't squeeze your face on the child. Pamper her and smile. I will soon finish, even when you know that you are not finishing yet. And so if we love, we smile. What did Mother Mary have above everything? Love. So like mother, like son. Mabua, like mother, like son. Smile, laugh, and love. See, yaki be na kansan wa bapi aza mepade me kan some this evening is that we shouldn't eat processed foods. We shouldn't eat processed foods. It's not good. Let's do our own. You don't know what is in the Indomie. You don't know what is in the corned beef. You don't know what is in the canned foods. So let's please meat pie. Oh, maybe meat pie and malt. Count the calories, the fat in the meat pie, and the calories in the drink of malt. So let's be calculative with our intake of food. School was trying carbohydrate, fats, and proteins. Oh yeah, but we have to eat them in balanced way according to your age. It's Philippa here. The lady, farm Dr. Philippa Asare, young colleague, she's also here. If she has something to add, then she has a little baby. That's why she didn't come early. So she can also give you something, and then later we'll do the questions. You ask questions. So farm Dr. Philippa Asare.
Good evening. So it's basically about nutrition and health, and my two bosses have already spoken about most of it, but the little I want to add is that it has to do with alcohol intake. Most of us are Christians, and when alcohol topic comes up, we're like, oh, we don't take alcohol. But you don't know the little amount of alcohol you are taking into your system will do more harm than good. You are destroying your liver. And liver is very important to us. All the detoxification goes about because we have our liver working. So as you are taking your alcohol, please ask yourself, what harm am I doing to myself? Will my medicines work because I'm taking this alcohol? When we ask ourselves all these things, it will go a long way to help us. Because the medicines are not leaving our system, you are destroying our kidney. And you can't live without your liver and your kidney. So as you are maintain a healthy diet, taking all the food low in fat, low in salt, we should ask ourselves, what else are we taking that is causing more harm? No, it is not food. Some claim, oh, little alcohol hurts nobody. You are hurting yourself. So as you are eating well, please make sure that you are also reducing or stopping, if possible, alcohol intake. So we all have healthy organs working to live long, as Abuna said, to see our great-great-grandchildren. Thank you. And please, if you have any questions, let's add.
Mera sumdwe hema. Nyimri se hinyina ya mi bia. Mejemi zida ye won se mi se bebre. Wati akasembi esi mfimfini ho na yebegyina na yebise henensam na ze yebenye de. Yebisa nsam ebasa chiedo na iyanaba. We are new na ebasa so achiedo. We will ask the questions in sets of 3. So the first 3 people will ask their questions, then the doctors will help us with the response. Then after that set of 3, another 3 would come in like that. In Tipocho, it was a missy pira. Bomboten na ben akasaman. MC Subabohen na wadan then yenara a fine.
Mary Asum Gehima. Wakasa Bebrina. Question, you know, my expect will be my Wakawanka. At what's it, the body needs a bit of alcohol. At what age must you reduce the intake of alcohol, and at what quantity must you take the alcohol to?
Yo, but you must music kakra in there. Put be said there. Blood groups, you're kind of even woozy. Naza on your wizard. What you music crashing?
Please, thank you so much for the insight. I want to ask, formally, when someone is slim, we say the person is maintaining a healthy nutritional status. But lately, we've learned that it's not only the fact that the person is slim. As Mommy has said, maybe it's because you have a rapid metabolism. So how do I, like a nurse, just assess or see somebody to know that the person is maintaining a healthy lifestyle or not? Or if there are some series of questions I have to take the person through, or some tests the person do. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll start with the third one. How to assess that one is maintaining a healthy weight or a healthy metabolism or lifestyle. I don't know if that's what. I think in Mommy's submission, she made mention of what we call the BMI, the body mass index. And that is when you're able to tell whether you are within weight, you are overweight, or you are obese. As soon as you are overweight, that means you are heading towards obesity. And that is very dangerous. And so the BMI is very key to check whether somebody is within, and you know, some kind of questions when they come to you that you ask will also help you to know whether the person is living a healthy lifestyle or not. Even when you go to the hospital and you start talking about your complaint, the doctors or the nurses at the triage will ask you, do you smoke? Do you take in alcohol? And these are some of the questions that they ask to form an idea of the kind of lifestyle that you live. Even when you tell them you take in alcohol, they will ask you how often, how many bottles in a day. And so some of the questions that you can ask is that one. But then the key thing is the BMI, because you could see somebody might be slim, and maybe you ever check people now, the person is either overweight or heading towards obesity, because you use the mass, that's the weight of the patient, the person, and then the height. No, are you checking whether you're obese? Oh. Okay. It's rather unfortunate we don't have a scale here. But if you come to the hospital, we'll be able to check whether you are obese or overweight. But, okay. So that's some of the things we can use. Yes, there are some groups, the kind of foods that is good for each blood group. And I wouldn't want to say I know them all, because Obia Nane specialty. We have people who are into nutrition, and then they can advise better. And so, I don't know, maybe on that question, if Mami or Philippa would, but I would prefer that you rather see, okay, I think somebody, yeah, Gifty, yes. She is a nutrition, yes, and she knows all those things. I don't know, Gifty, you can help us. Maybe when I finish the first question. Yeah, you asked about alcohol. Yes. A bit of alcohol doesn't hurt, but please know that there's some amount of alcohol in it. There, a little bit of alcohol for the body is good. The amount of the alcohol that the body needs is in the food. So there's no need topping it up with external alcohol. It's just enough for the body. So Gifty, you can help.
Good evening. Mary Asumdwe Hemba. Yeda yen impenyimfo ya ase wo friend den. Talk was ama wa aka se bebre, but maso me pede meze kakra meze ka ho. Yeka BMI ya oye nyimpa bia ne tenten in relation to nimudu. But ye nimde nyimpa inyina na edu age bia enye tintini bi nka ho. But wumuduro ne ze otum ibi beka ho. Nti demo a area kese na wotenten no ibi mbeka ho no. Na obo akonya ma yereba bebre obetena wo system ne mu. Nti na BMI no ohia yen papa. But sisi anu ye wo skill bi wo ho no ma, it goes beyond the BMI. What say on ye enough there beka de nyimpa numuduru no washer. What is contributing to the total weight? Inti your machine na otum omahen the fat mass omahen muscle mass ya kamasla sebio ekona se ekoto meat a wotwa ebe hu de baby akoko baby efufu. So the muscle mass no na so dominate to total weight down on pose most on a much threat to the health of the individual. But baby or fufu na fat and asrazino na or contribute more to than total weight na, then that one is not so healthy. And now you will be a friend the visceral fat, on my abdominal fats. And we know that the abdomen is where most of the organs are located. Into your liver, your kidney, your pancreas, and now all those organs which perform a lot of functions in our system now, they are located at the abdominal region. Inti say what visceral fats kosura, there are fats accumulating around those organs, and once there is fat around those organs, they are not able to perform their functions as expected. Inti that is where the diseases begin to also troop in. Yaba often then food groupings and data. Well, in WHO standard, we work with evidence-based research, and with food grouping or your bini work away. even though it works for some people, it doesn't work for all people. We have certain groups, blood groupings certain foods are good for them, but they take them and they tend to put on weight, and they tend to also experience certain diseases. It is a groupings now or individualized. Ebi accept no user, it works for them. Ebi nsu user, it doesn't work for them. So with Ghana Health Service per Ministry of Health standard, we are not using the food groupings, but accept food groupings use no that one is fair enough. And then when we talk about oil, every oil is good. And we know that cholesterol is found in plant products. So when we take our oils, they don't have cholesterol. But oil can cholesterol. Oil does not work in isolation. When we eat a lot of oil and it goes into our system, during absorption and metabolism processes, it has to bound to the protein. So if you talk about cholesterol or your lipid profile, lipoprotein, which is lipid in combination with protein. So that combination gives us cholesterol. It's easy oil bebrea, oma cholesterol kosher, oma wo fat and then okosher. So in terms of oil, every oil is good. And it's true, coconut oil is now the recommended oil that we recommend for people. But coconut oil, the processing is the problem. We have different types. Then there is another one that comes and it's like a bit cream or broken white or something of that sort. Just say oil cherwejada or say, because oil contains antioxidants. And if you heat oil, you overheat it, it becomes rancid. And once there is rancidity, either one or two more, you develop cancer. Because like those are some of the links that is linked with oil. Yafa oil quantity yenzi on average basis. Yes, dessert spoon and no. You can take like 3 servings of oil per meal. It's banana amazing once. Then if I'm preparing it, whether a bomb or stew or what, you use just 3 servings of that spoon to measure, or averagely 2. So per the number of people who are going to eat the meal, no, then you measure and then you use it to cook. And then maybe the number of days that you are going to use that stew, then you use it. Then when we talk about oil, as they rightly said, the fried foods. When you fry food, actually, banibia na nama, every na oil do no that. This one with the oil no kohen. Oil no kwezi banimu. It is the maize ban at the end of the day, no. Wo friend then ahwazina ebe nefim wo calories or your energy. Energy no so no is maybe a years no then esichire. And esichire no yaz born. Esichire no no ma yetu me yakasa ya jahum ye bibia. So sugar is not actually bad. But the sugar that is not used or energy that is not expended is what is our problem. Until at the end of the day, no, say yezi is bana wacho. Yata are benkwan and katankwan, those oily foods are. And then we take like meat pie, chips, cake, that has a lot of fats incorporated into it now. We tend to store a lot of energy that is not used. Until those are the oils that we are talking about. Yaka salt, most of the times, you're not ordinary in chin. But in chin, you have control over quantity. You are saying that 1 teaspoon of salt for a day is enough for everybody. And that salt, contain about 60% chloride, sodium, and then 40% chloride. And sodium is the problem that we have when it comes to hypertension. Well, sodium draws water. And in your school, the science change the osmosis. when there is different in concentration, water is being drawn into the high concentrated area. Into damina and chinene, so it turns up a BP, I will be pinibacosser. Any BP with time, you are likely to develop high blood pressure. And then when we take those things that they preserve with salt, them what kind no packaged foods. No sodium is a preservative. We call it hidden salt because empty taste, there in chinwom. But if you take your Coke, there is preservative, which is sodium. If you take malt, there is preservative, which is our paper drinks. There are preservatives inside those things. So when you take those things, at the end of the day, your salt or your sodium intake goes high. Effa, sardine, effa, tinapa, those things, it has a lot of sodium in them. Then when you take like momoy, kobe, kako, beef nam, even our Maggi cube, our artificial spices, ekawana, we have a lot of salt in those things. But at the end of the day, our mind doesn't even go to those items. Say they are the very things that cause problem for us. If you argue there, I mean, musical be to me, Konima, fan chin and sending to. If you back at them, is it to Sumama or friend that in chinning enough? What is your basis? It is your tank. And we know that as you are growing, definitely as in Zama Shoma, while people will several times. So your sensitivity is not as sharp as another person. It's always a kawana as in chini nimono. At the end of the day, no, obi bekana no bekade there is salt. So it's relative to the individual's tank. And then if our friend then Kobina, what is your basis that in China FM? In the first place, so you can't even quantify how much salt is in it. So how do you know that you've reduced it to the normal quantity now? Oh yeah, there, efano. And these are the very things that we do. If you are honoma audition it me there, oh, me, I will eat once. There is a brunch, so an upper means then around 10 mezizi. I will skip lunch and then I will take supper. So I eat twice a day, which is very wrong. Because musician meeting that I will skip lunch, then it means I'm going to eat heavy. But the body also works in such a way that quantity biana ebefano, it has time that it should elapse. And as they rightly said, body nebe store is in the form of sugar or fat. And that fat, you don't have control over where the body should deposit it. It chooses where to deposit it. So at the end of the day, say me fa or friend then, me fa ezibanen na mizini bebreya na ejuma amezere ya no oye kakraba then ochede energy no bebre na beye then obeka echi nti energy ni bebre na ka echira body no edo store obesto in a form of fat. Then you see that you are gaining weight. And see, all these are things that we should look out for. Yes, the breakfast, sorry, before 6, actually 8 o'clock, and that is breakfast. Into no what's a breakfast because your last meal was taking more than 12 hours, depending on the time umpa noya then ozini or friend then the supper. And see, say easy. Sorry, after 6 hours. Then within 2 hours after waking up, you should take your first meal. Well, when you don't do that, the body will find a way to generate internal energy. And that one too can lead to increment in your triglycerides. And then your fat too will go up. So I will skip meal. We don't skip meal to lose weight, but we rather modify our meal to lose weight. So what you do is you reduce the portion or the food that will give you a lot of energy, which is our carbohydrates. And carbohydrates, we have different types. We have our starches, grains and cereals, then we have our vegetables and fruits. And see, more time, if you want to lose weight, you are saying that you should incorporate a lot of vegetables into your meal, reduce your starches, and then eat and work with the food. Yen subanye de miziza menyo behaw. And that is what is causing a lot of problem for us. Miziza menyo behaw. Nti ye adwuma ni nyawia na ezizi na etifa akor. So energy no, what you are expending when the body is at rest, is very minimal as compared to what you will expend if you are active. So you eat, then you use the energy that you get from the food to work. Nti kakra maka to ma mempenyo fono wa kan.
Next three. Sisi one question is really na hinezi bana yetinya wurutwe ni nyina mu. So questions no.
Pacho obi wakako na kobi na za. Ya won famra na ya fanka chenkofai. Yes rama.
Pacho my questioning. Say it's a mumpinfu akenya. No, obodi we want show in his bumpinzi. But mama hu inde the mezibania kako na nonka kanwi. Yena nanom ana wazi ya bum na azia. Yanse dam cancer. Yen odu yen time yeza was a cancer ba. Ene ents mama hu inde is bimbiara amaso mo working is bimbia bezibian. Or that they exercise more. No ben fat na wabomun. Nes bembi so wabobodo wa ha. Inzi. But e bon dey yebebi so waba. Anam pede mu hu dey abeziban. Ene idu age bia obeyama. Mawama enya hwanzen ni nya yebe bebre. Always ban across one can be one in Chifua. In Chifua, he needs a Oyemon, Obia weighs 40 and above. Above Fraba, he knows a Oyeman. Because Moon, the be watching to for about 10, as album a day easy, and he know Yemen.
You, Master Medasi, Bimba Shas and Better Shasi. Master Crumpling me saying that. Research no about for and was a brain. What by Yasugana for you go into it. Because in that vaccine, you but even though World Health Organization will agree, but what FDA wants to have to do as another research and studies to allow us to use. It seems that that's my opinion. Most of the research was UN, then you accept to who say, yeah, what means I jungle? Says what's our jungle. My means you could be anga, what's ye. Yama no me no phone musu. Ishi on yanko doctor binachi wa kwana na yin kaso so. Onam de mesafo nti wan san na yin na won wa ifim na yes won yede. No ama I confuse. They be all me confuse and hwe ne na research no yanso yan localized one. Because we feel that it is influenced by the environmental factors. In some ways, we have to also use our expertise to go into it before exactly medicine.
Painful Pamacho. Madam Mercy, watch Rahan, Ejubana, our day eji. The oye a drew or ye jibano, or Bokwan ye funima, on him fire by Embra and Adam Mercy. No more mass and be saying there. Moama baby or ho. Near funny and yo, Sissy Sharan, and a parcel and near funny and yo. Madame Nature home won't numbi or home, I cut it to be. Na sabi mpamucho madasa ntimpede mbisa de asanu su oya na de omo
Mpocho muhunde match le babia sorry fa wote ne ka ho preko ai na mejimizi bia nye hobio yi akokore bi enyo nti ewia Mr. Sam zinzi botwato no chede yes henon common abewi
Pochon painful wakade, our day is 3 times a day. Near Numunsuso, Cassi. But in Pedami Bissade, during Lenten season, oh ya, yes, yen funuto. Yen disease. Go on disease, or dear, Bissau or two musala of matching or disease in any breeze with thee. Then Pedami Bissade, or yet the man on ye. na ma sam kronye there what's or there lime oya ye twebi gunsum like nshishu no de kakanezi line me gum na no so every day bia etwa lime na ezu gunsum na yit nkakra na ma na o days bi wo ho a o de etwa lime na ezu gunsum na no ma sem bi sanyen
Mr. Sam zenizin bo wie o chere wo ya no wie na yesi agora na baby
Mara sumji himba. Nibri atsin sembebri. Namazin mum onya asembisa or as a mercant tools are. What kinds of chain, you know? Mamma Moon, anime so a foot to some. What can offer his disease, ne hindu fa, ne jinabi woman, because he may nekasi muomibi. Me jinabi papa. Mazi polycythemia, number of Tibetan, to hematologists. So, Tibetan, I'm being managed by about 7 doctors right now. From hematologist to cardiologist, cardiologist to diabetic to dietitian, dietitian to renal, kidney, liver, the neurologist, and eye. Easy. Now, maybe in a few days, you're chilly fine. Not knowing that we shall go into this situation. Because I don't find I can tilapia banku, tilapia grilled, I'm being navi. Now the drink out sodo, ne kebab, grill, narevi. And go check up. No, to all these things in checkups. Not to bomb me with the mazina. I used to go for checkups every 6 months on my own. So to that when they are homos rock high. I cried to 25, no more cry. So I was fresh with Tibetan. To do that, I managed my cry or before. Then hypertension. Through the hormones, your hypertension also go high. And through the polycythemia, they have to refer you to cardio. One minute after they say, all flow of blood to the heart and the brain is free flow. And through that, you have to check your sugar level. There, because of hypertension and your cardio, your sugar level is also okay. I'm obese. My weight is 100 kilos, about 2 bags of cement. Might try to bring it down, I 98, for my 95, beginning is here, or my like me. I try more dietitian. I've been advised. It's the Minzi, Nazi. But in an say, Kocha Kappa, you who's a woman. I don't take in any drink, in soup, no could be. Macorma horses have gout, man, additives and preservatives in any drink, I'll be affected. Macorma is what it is, I'm moving a business. I'm going to stage beer, I'm managing my own affairs. And so, you know, I dare show system, papa. I don't want to tell them there is been Miza or home. Mamma can't show their mains Moko, and I means ancient, and I means the Piromokichini. Why can't you want my address? Be. The CF is our boy home banner into Bayamahan. And so much back catching young from boy home ban, near fortune a lifestyle. Some of us are still in the youthful age. We are still chilling. But what the point to be at, bone there. And kind of muscle my pair, ice block, no moon, ice freezer. No, oh, I never show. Now I can't take in cold drinks. And when there, my shares, maybe I'm too much. No. And this out has landed me. But by and by, I go for my checkups, regular checkups. Through my checkups, I go to the glaucoma. I didn't have the checkup, to my macro blackouts. So I'm being managed by coma, the so crack. So it's not been easy. It's say I'm sharing your lifestyle, here's the Nadia. But I said, I'm work. More for Basura, I could make no peace, the same coffee. And still, more waiting, but the 2 bags of cement. obesity. But my try by more than 10 years, 100 bucks. Yeah, but from 98, 95. No, Cosuro. So, no, Pere, Maka to Draken Ramen, a foot some papa, Ramen Checha papa. I do him papa, never me official. One check up ye. In fact, Omona was also sharing yet, we will. You must be quiet. Uncle check up. It be so a waste of time. Yes. More crime if you're 6. Nurse from the doctor from over 8:39. I don't have any problem because we don't go hospital. We so while now you're home. Last Friday, McCray. What your last CP mum? So, doctor, I said, Daddy, for your own good. For my own good, Ampa. And so I'm for checkups if I had to wait my mom and a waste of time. Now, if you saw a young hospital Nazi about him. It's a come out to the woman share his lifestyle, but I see.
Daddy, that's very there are food examine. We be a question about eating a diet. Dietitian can BMI or your water or water trim. Ye tintin and yet tintinibium, like I says a ye. Into why in 2 ways, but no, Johnny very key. Because we are here means young or means the now society now is in our boma. In Zangos is on parona. Mammy can woo and pesenoya. I don't know my ye kessy. Inti any tintin and other also show ways is in any cases, no BMI and uncle or costra nor the Yarabazame. It is Banez na 9 years in answer it. No beside or be beside the entry way. And she for what's about 2 to 3 times in a week. Now say if you want to eat more, there you yoke him and a cholesterol no door so into white one and busy, but yellow one and onions. What if you want to eat more, white one or high in cholesterol, onions. Into white yellow one or high in cholesterol, onions. White one and busy. Now be so sad. Obi wakada as a support situation mboframba and pain phones, but then the issue is abeju nezeresa. Ano na oya sam dodo ahen nezeresa. Ano na ayoya ye ne ha okese. Ahen nezeresa edru na mpoe kate won edru ni nyim. Na says was spray ni feature one for chemicals being put on godo. Ntana na ayo ye ha okese edru na hin eze sa in afran edru one spray do. These are some of the challenges we have. In the person Tamafana Bra Hospital na yenshen. I need now bob one early detection helps to save life a lot. Nti ano can don't self medicate. One month no fear na nkede we mo sha we no be me fa we yen fa afran bra na yenshen. No, be about lemon water. It depends on you. Say they be able to my why not? It's for your own good. I just need to be into me, a bit but at least try and do it about 3 times in a week. Ni na boy. It's ni na wa would.
Lent seminar. Sister could be said, no, or a area lent, on no cofa and Kamasa, the Obotus and Kamegu sooner and Noma. A point to Naran, or Yazibia or Yema, you pedianos, apart from hen spiritual build up, or Yema, hen, you pedianos, tissue cleansing. Now, a botu down. The nature of Wejuma. The nature of Wejuma. Sebotuma is an apako bra fine. But Amide Muntum. Number 1, me age. And now the length of time I have to stand up and work. Into the man Ishawara able to name into my Fire pee or what? Able to ya ye. Arms given. Yan examination of conscience. You're cleaning. It's in a yet to come. You're clean hands soon. It's in a yet to come. It's a come to no. Or yama nipadiana so America about the body cells. Or ye is a tissue cleanser. Ma a toxins now walk a woman. It's a corner at the suit chaga or horror. Now, Mamma, young cadet, or monumensa, mochan chidudo, into monuments, on also move your feet them at the best or there, just as the one I call Jansi, no, no Jansi. Now, Jansi, never clean every cell of your body, never clean with kidneys, now with liver, because I need them, sir. Now, rebuild bacteria in the bladder. Now, infection, but or kidneys. And to say, you'll be impediment because animals are dancing as no dancing. Now, almost bladder, the kidneys, and the liver. Now, these are two important organs. And to a contrary, or your name, mom, as I'm comable gunsum, natural come on. I'm sure you are a build of acid in your GIT. William, no, I'm sure you are a Kenyan Yumkur. Now, Marine Paka, my sister can about a son. Matia a kada a katsununum, there's a son. Herb biara also or a herbal. Na herb bia ye do. Herb bia so okita aza or your body. A bit for your poisonous. Overdose be or that. Them okay, ye nim dosa is a son. And now the absorption of a drone into the system. Ye nim there is local research and what. You will baby pee upon in as you seek. Now, Kakranka cry a body ho. It's our uncasa, a show body, a show ban, as it a son, bounty a chrono, or yet then. O Jaya, when Jaya, no, Nunum, or your drew papa, one young so one. A pimple her, if you try as in Susu, do is one why the tea, now son do nanum. Inti helps be a while, yen and none match hen. Oh, ye, Babu or one side, yen and whole research. Inti yen 2 year news in Bassa. Oh, ye, Bibit then some pea day. My no word my pea. Bibit there, Minimin is in Fagara. Conto. On Tasabredu, not yet treat cancer, cancer yara. Into habandruno herbs, it can be the bark, the leaf, the roots. Now, yet no whole research in ye. Into a beer, yes, a man penny for why and na so you're Sian and Kakranka crafty ho.
I'm the 9, but some of the Obika about research. Today we are relying on foreign research. Oyaza henina okoma henina, especially those of us in the health field. Senkobe no beya nka we also take up some local research. Today numa semia working. Ebianko bi aye research ehudo nunu dudu day is this anaye day obwa mo sadame yerbe nazi but we are relying on yen nananum wanizinara na in brochures sa nti dem me colleague ne ken no obehia there hia sha ye wo dem field no yebo hina especially yehu yerba na ye nipa ho adwuma pii nka akonya ne ba e be take up research nanka say WHO another adwofo so was once ba yeso e be na local bar can be they na ote they would not just accept it as it is that's it.
Obi Mr. Papa there on ice water living basis to say Sierra Obi orin kati obonwinti dema ni num ye frɛ hon allergies enti wara ehwɛ wo honam mu ehwɛ wo body mu na adza onjo no menye osono bia na ne body entum kada ice water nye ana hot water no ye wara ehwɛ wo body na enum hot warm water oye oden enum ice water oye oden ti menye ndem bio na ice water na la onya de papa bia
asemo o me mbonsem ai ka Jesus Christ and then you breeze Yesu adi bebre a onhia mpo de mabobodo moti bian or chede yenhwe hene didi yenhwe hene didi nchemfa ntefo de onanye sochi edza na wan ho nyina ye angwai chono na ye pye na so nyimbire wose ni nyinara nye nteja chibom ni nyinara nda ye nko joint ntina so ye hune mede no so no woreka hene sunsun mede no so ohia nzabre na abire dwene wonya nko ho so wonyim enya fe intuma na ma na kita iron opompo ne pe na ato no asemare nyen sinare nyen abombo tinara ama adwene pa ahye wa adwene mo se na adwene pa hye wa adwene wonyim tew fine na say your rainy season nti ehia mununkum o wonyim nsu ato tin nyinara kan ye da homa se bebre nya me nkodara no nhyen ye Canada ma ye da hona sen ye za kesem ba ma MC ma wa to na dwumazido ye da homa se
Ebe wama ye mose ma chairman. And as this year, the multi biaran obiara ode ope baby a plug wo. Amasa when you pompona a plug iron na to nentem. Era mais the menyim na is benanso. Ya kana de mewi about to self oye yaba man kai bokra na bi ya kai ho. Nyame adoma china ya wadisia ye nze hia wa ha. Obiara busy share woni fie ebusia okadwumezi no nti yebobo ye ho moze na ye wo fie na oye za order kenkan wo ye chokronkron mu ya dwendwe no na etintim bibi amase ye sene ze share ya zababan oye looking sampane to ye kronjichem eduana ne son kesi edunum enum Luke chapter 1 verse 47 to 55 nti oye za ebusia biara ankranko biara ye kodwendwe ho na za asemi okachen Nazichi oyo kudan yeba yebezi the mankomo. So we just want to remind ourselves of the fact that tomorrow we are not meeting here, but we'll have our meetings in our various homes, and then we are going to reflect on the Gospel of Luke chapter 1 verse 47 to 55. It is expected of each and every one of us as the families, as individuals to do this so that when we gather on Wednesday, we'll be able to have a fruitful sharing. So don't be left out. Don't say that I don't have a family. I'm not living with anyone. You can still share something because it is a personal reflection that you are going to share with us. But then, God willing, on Thursday, we'll have a 3-hour adoration, exposition of the Blessed Sacrament. We'll begin at 4, and then by 7, it will be over. This is going to be private as well as a communal kind of thing. So from 4 p.m. onwards, anytime you want to come around, please do so. Let us spend time with the Lord. It is important. Sometimes we just need to sit at His feet, let Him speak to us, speak to our hearts. So please, we would beg of you that when it comes Thursday, this is what we are going to do. Until you come, don't share about San Yezebesi ya tuntun oye afarapon adumazi konkron. Ya shase no nan kesi inyimbre no nson. Ya ne de amkranko biara yenyina yeboma na yezi shanti. Mbre biara ofidam no nan bre kesi no nson. Mbre biara benye biara botuma baha na enyi Jesus a bezin komo odu baby or the etina na ase na onye hene zin komo za opero kachen na waka chente wo mention and so nyame aduma fida yada yebezeshia yana manjum tudo empaibodo ya ben hene yankopon nti ono so wo mention and so de ifide nyumbre no nsia mbre no mu jumeza yebezi nti wo mention and so on Friday we would have a moment where we would gather for worship and prayer. So we would want to remind each and every one of us that this is what we are going to do come Friday. So please take note of it. And then on Saturday, where's the kind of catching? The other day, 18 and pum kaka, anamebwa. Mebwa another no car. They be a yafusru ha. You would ask you as a bus. Here I am for bus here, Yakitaka. In fact, we could be no one answer. It's the engineer at the home bedroom. Says the one number 2 for my problem. Nemum anapan, what am I there every time? 7, non son per yes, yes, Shavaha, Yabananto. Aha, you're not if you are the Sergeant Johnson, don't worry, Biera, near Zabaha. It's a Ikita Pumapra, Yabayanaka Kranka. Ocho powder, yes, ambulance visit. Amasa etobahawa yazuwatu ambulance muna etumaba nti oye memenda anapa no son yaba yabetisi hanum pum ha kakra ebiana yesisi ha usanda kwisira ni yadapon ma nti woma yenhye so. Saturday we're going to have exercise but a health walk would begin from the junction through to the church premises, and then we'll have a few aerobics. Then from there we'll have a clean up just to prepare for the Sunday, the climax. I want to remind each and every one of you that if you don't know where you have put your parish clothes, probably have put on. If you have put on, please make sure that you do something about the clothes, because Sunday, that is what we are going to wear. And Tinyami Aduma Kwesida, our parish tam and la cousin, on years a years a bit you want to say, I can crack, Kono Homa I. Say, I tell them as soon as I wrote out to Kakana, or no, I'll walk a cram on a day. It was easier, Affinity Woma, Yanshan, so Mass near Crotin or your non watchy. So we'll have one Mass on Sunday, it's at 8 a.m. So please let's take note of that. On that note, we would want to call Mrs. Sam to give us the vote of thanks. Then we would call on Father to give us the closing prayer and the benediction. Hey, you want to my so much in AI.
Mary Asumjehima. Mary Asumjehima. The main beyond the war Fredam Bada Mpenifuyasi. Father Bichem, Chairman, Yadawasi, they are from Puputi Kra, Nakwa Kwatna, Bibia, Yakama. The mouse young ladies' pharmacies. And you be a donor, Sibri, in Chacha, was our Bawaja, Honaza Woyanina, Waba Chachemu, is Bano de Yezi, Yeznu Kakanka Crowdy and Musuzawa Kanina. Parishness. I hope there's a waka change, Yansu as Baye a Juma, I'm Yanya Hozen, ye tums as Sumianya me, ye tum as our Bobra, as I shall mean. Mijinaha, Medo Biarasi, that was say one bay, Wabakayam, we don't see baby.
As a mouse Mijina, I saw me name as you had was the Abeda Henase. It's the that may have gotten stuff for Reverend Father David Okana, Onyena Bompina Fios, the insurance the trees are my own. Or my fancy bullshit for the time.
So my answer. Kuma yembon pawo ejan noban onyisin sumpon kronetsenem. Kutumfu nyodoman kumeja. Yadawase de nyimbri upon heneshia de womba. Yadawase wo oye intrechra. Anam heneni anumido ete amahen. Yezwan shawonsa. De ratadamra waze odo. What are Kumapa? What did the men church wrote to me? What are Brehening? Yame, Zawasho, Honem Brim, Zawasher, war Honejmayim, warankasa so wa kwana home ebestana mo won nsa akebio na won nsa ka no mbrodo yesre apomodzen yedzema hon ni yesre won hra so yedzema hon ama brina we tum so wadzedam trace wadzama womba the mara na hine yeti hie nyimbere yetuan ho hye won nsa deda yat wa hebiaran yebotum yetu ho anamon na yedza ye dwuma manchinyame odo a edzebohen na hodzena edza maheni yetum yedza obrapa yedza akrado yen ma wa yen faso so za mahen yabompa mahene nuanom hina adofo yinara nyimbere wentumamba na so onam oye abefun frido woyen ayedem edwumen tenyame biabiara wo biara ma wonhyira onsan honodo na warankasa kian ho ama za obiara ye biara wa boa na pom dwumedi biara ne za hyew enyimnyam bra yer zinda na kofe yame batampa yetuan ho hye wonsa ma wabofo nje hene tatan kodu fie son na mayenda nhomnya hodzen fa ye dwuma fa nyiwayo yedi oyin hene bisazaru na edu de Jesus Christ to toyim ono yawo no sunsum konkrontas na humte hen enyankopon krowambira onyi ewiyen erade yehomensana tonfo yankopon inshra ejan oban onyi sunsum konkronazanam Have a good night.